Thanks, Anthony, for that introduction. I'm now joined by our first guest, attorney Ramona Martinez. Ramona, tell us about yourself and your qualifications to serve as the district attorney in Doña Ana County.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And first of all, thank you for actually paying attention to this race. It's really important.
Of course.
I've been an attorney for the last decade, but I've been serving New Mexicans for almost 20 years now. I have been a criminal defense attorney, so I've been on the front lines. I'm in the courtroom every day seeing what's going on with the district attorney's office. And I have been in public service a bit beyond that, about 10 years in working in the state executive levels and working in the governor's office. My first job was constituent services, so constituent services and connecting with the community is extremely important to me because I understand that when you understand and engage what's going on with the community, you get what's going on, those issues, then you figure out what's going on with your own office.
Thanks for that. And so what sort of reform in New Mexico's criminal justice system would you like to see?
Well, thankfully there are things that are being worked on right now up in Santa Fe, specifically dealing with mental health and diversion programs. So essentially I have been advocating or will be legislating and have been working on these issues, specifically addressing people with mental health issues and behavioral health services, which currently Doña Ana is lacking right now. We're the second largest county, but we definitely need more services in that area. So with regards to that, diversion program, sending people, what that means is sending people to get mental health medication management and being connected with behavioral health services is direly needed in this county.
And so sort of just going off of that, what do you think of using harm reduction as a way to deal with non-violent offenses, such as low-level drug possession? So
essentially with pre-prosecution diversion programs, essentially, those are, giving people that opportunity to get drug treatment, being able to get drug treatment programs, being able to get behavioral health services. So those type of diversion programs are part of my platform and what I'm advocating for as district attorney. I think that those type of programs, because we have to address the root levels of crime, right? We can't lock up all our problems, and until we are addressing those root causes of crime, we're going to continue to have the same issues dealing with those type of issues.
I see. So how would you improve collaboration between your office and local law enforcement?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty simplistic in the sense that, number one, you have a liaison with the district attorney's office that is directly a liaison to law enforcement, but also in the sense that you begin collaborating with the community, whether it's, in my mind, I'm envisioning a task force of where we would come together with the different community stakeholders, the university, city, local, city and county government leaders, to be able to pull our resources together to be able to build these diversion programs. It's not unheard of. We're not inventing the wheel. These already exist all over the nation. So, and we used to have one that was a great program. It was a jail diversion program that unfortunately was not funded, I don't know, for the last couple of years. So those type of things are very easy to do, but it just takes a leader to be able to bring the community together.
I see. So can you explain how you would handle a fatal use of force incident involving a law enforcement officer? How is that something that you would deal with as district attorney?
So, first of all, it's very important that you have a thorough investigation on those type of cases. Number one, I think that's the first and foremost, that you're ensuring that you are gathering all the evidence and making sure that everyone's interviewed at that point. Those type, and you might also consider an independent investigation as well to ensure that everybody is being treated fairly and that everybody, including the officer and the victims, are getting their fair shake throughout the whole process. Those type of cases are extremely difficult to deal with because depending on their training and they're police officers. So I think making sure that you work with law enforcement themselves to be able to prevent this from the beginning. I think that's extremely important that you create that level of relationship, because I think preventative measures first is what you want to address initially, and then making sure that the investigation is done thoroughly.
So what do you think needs to be done to address the backlog of cases in our court system right now?
Well, first of all, the district attorney's office is not fully staffed, so that's issue number one. So first and foremost is stopping the bleeding. We need to triage that office because there's not nearly enough attorneys to be able to handle the number of cases that are going through that office. So we need at least twice the number of felony attorneys in the office, and right now they have half of that. So first of all, it's active recruitment, which means either going to the law school here at UNM, going to the bordering law schools, ensuring that you as a district attorney are there present and actively recruiting, and including from the local bar. So that's the first issue, is being able to do that. And once you do that, then you start triaging those cases from the most serious. Which cases do we need to get rid of, either by plea policies, offering fast track pleas, and so on and so forth.
I see. So how would you navigate competency and pre-trial detention laws, in order to keep dangerous individuals off the street? And I know that's a big question, so I'll give you the floor on that one.
Right, that's a very complex issue, and it's something that I would actually say that I'm one of the few attorneys out of all the candidates who understands the issue extremely well. I contract with the Public Defender's Office. I was also a public defender, and the Public Defender's Office handles a majority of those cases. Again, on behalf of Doña Ana County, I was up in Santa Fe because the governor actually had a bill on that issue. But it's the issue. The first problem is we don't have the infrastructure to deal with these type of problems. So in other words, we don't have treatment programs to help those who are not competent become competent. And it's a two different things. It's a two different issues that people need to understand. One, it's the issue of people not being competent, having to understand the criminal proceedings. And then the second issue is those who do understand the proceedings but maybe just need medication management, just need to be connected with health professionals. So that is one of my number one priorities is again to start dealing with these issues through diversion programs and helping people to understand what competency really means in legal terms.
Sure. And so we kind of flew through those questions, so I'll give you the stage, as it were. What sets you apart from your opponents, and what is your appeal to voters as we approach the June primaries? What is it that you want folks to know?
Sure. So as a native New Mexican, I am being in Las Cruces and practicing for my entire legal career, I understand what our community needs. I think what sets me apart is that I have been advocating on these issues, again, serving New Mexicans for almost 20 years. I not only have the political experience, but I think I have a wealth of experience being in the public sector and also running my own law firm, which I've been in business for about 5 years now. So all of those together, I think, makes me the best candidate. And most importantly, to put it simplistically, I care about criminal justice. It's been my passion. It's what I've been doing for my entire life. And I just care about the community. And so I think that I can genuinely make a difference because I just genuinely care about doing this, not out of my own ego, but for our community, because Doña Ana deserves a lot better at this point.
And Ramona, I mean, if there's one thing you wanted people to walk away with after hearing this interview, what would that be? Yeah,
so I think that I would, deserve people's vote because I genuinely care about this community. I have been putting the work. I have been a devoted Democrat. I have worked for this party and lived by the Democratic values my entire life since before I even can vote. And so I hope that people will take away that in the sense that people just want their day in court, whether you're the accused or you're a victim, and they just want to be heard, and I'll be the candidate that listens.
Ramona Martinez is running for district attorney in New Mexico's 3rd Judicial District. Ramona, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back with our next candidate, so stick with us.